الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن دعا بدعوته واستنى بسنته وسار على نهجه إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد, my brothers and sisters in deen, Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala is saying in a verse of the Quran that Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O you who believe, in tattaqullaha yaj'al lakum furqana. If you are conscious of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, He gives you criteria. That is, He gives you the ability to distinguish between right and wrong. My brothers and sisters in deen, in today's sermon, we will be looking at one of the hadith of the Lord Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, a hadith transmitted by Imam al-Bukhari and Imam Muslim. In that noble hadith, the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is saying that kullukum ra'i wa kullukum mas'ulun an ra'iyati. In this noble hadith, our Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is saying to us that all of us are shepherds. That is, all of us are leaders, or all of us have responsibility or are being entrusted with something. وَكُلُّكُمْ مَسْئُولٌ عَنْ رَعِيَّتِهِ. And each and every one of you will be questioned by Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, or each and every one of you will give account as regards what is being entrusted to him or her. My brothers and sisters in deen, looking at this hadith, I want us to focus on a particular set among us, that is the parents. Yes, the hadith talks about all of us, because it says all of you are shepherds. That means no one is exempted. Everybody has something he is responsible for, and he will be asked pertaining to what is being entrusted to him. But I want us to focus on ourselves today as parents. As parents, we have the responsibility of raising our children in a manner that will make them useful to themselves and useful to the society. We have the responsibility of raising our children in a way that they become source of safety and, progress to the society, not source of insecurity or challenge to the society. Because looking at the state of our communities, state of our country, we will see that as parents we still have a long way to go. That is, we are failing to a certain extent in the discharge of our duties as parents. My brothers and sisters in deen, in a verse of the Quran, Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala is saying to us that Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu qu anfusakum wa ahlikum nara. Allah the Exalted, in this noble verse of the Quran, is saying that Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O you who believe, qu anfusakum, save yourselves, wa ahlikum nara, and your families from the hell. And as I keep reminding us from time to time, when we talk about what you will do to give you Jannah, or what you will do to save you from hell, or what you will avoid to enter Jannah, or what you will avoid to, save yourself from the hell. They are also things that when you do them, just the way, virtually, all the things that when you do or live will give you Jannah are things that when you do or live will give you a better world, will give you a decent society. And things that you will do or avoid that will lead you to hell are things that when you do them or avoid them will also give you a hell in this world. That is, will give you an uncomfortable life, an unbearable life in this world. So I keep reminding us, there is a connection between your hereafter and your world. That is, the kind of life you live in the world determines the kind of place you will be in the hereafter. So if you live a kind of life that made the world a happy place, that made the world a safe place, then you will have a good life in the hereafter. And when you live a kind of life that made the world an unbearable place, that made the world unsafe, then you will also have that same kind of life in the hereafter. So my brothers and sisters, indeed, so we need to be conscious of the kind of upbringing we are giving our children. Today, most of us, when we see our children, or when we see the way most children are, they are not ways or manners we will be happy with. Today we find so many youth, so many young ones involved in all sorts of crimes. Yes, sometimes some of us blame them, but to be candid, we the parents are more responsible for their behavior. Because most of the things they do are things being encouraged or done by some parents. Yes, if we complain about many youth getting involved in, consuming intoxicants or consuming, drugs and so on, by the time you check around, most adults today have become drug sellers, because you have small shop around you, you have sachets of all kinds of drinks. Even around schools, around children, you see people smoke all kinds of things around children. So those children pick those things. Our Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us in a hadith that one who stays close to a bad person, that is, one who stays close to a good person and one who stays close to a bad person, is like someone who stays close to a perfume seller or someone who stays close to a blacksmith. He said, if you stay close to a perfume seller, he either gives you out of the perfume or you perceive a good odor, a good smell. That is, you will definitely get something from him. And he says, when you stay close to a blacksmith work is not bad, it's not haram, it's good, it's a good work, it's a good job. But he's just trying to make an analogy. So he said, when you stay close to a blacksmith, he either burns your clothes or you perceive what? A bad smell. So when you stay close to people, somehow they influence your life, they affect your life. Today, most elders are not good example to their children. They are not good example to the youth. So my advice to myself and the rest of us as parents is we need to begin to review our our lifestyle. We need to begin to check our ways. What are we doing that is not right? And how can we all collectively work towards changing the bad things in our society? And like we say, remember that a day is coming that you will account as regards to how you discharge your responsibility as a father, as regards to how you discharge your responsibility as a mother. Are you a good father? Did you raise your children properly? Or you raise somebody who becomes a problem to the environment? Then we also need to understand something. In a hadith, our Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that إِذَا مَاتَ ابْنُ آدَمَ قَطَعَ عَمَلُهُ إِلَّا مِنْ ثَلَاثٍ صَدَقَةٌ جَارِيَةٌ أَوْ عِلْمٌ يُنْتَفَعُ بِهِ أَوْ وَلَدٌ صَالِحٌ يَدْعُو لَهُ. In this noble hadith, our Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that if one dies, his source of having reward is closed except through three means. One of those means, he said, Sadaqatun Jariyah. A charity that is continuous. I said, let's assume somebody built a mosque, he dies. Okay, as people use the mosque, you'll be having reward. Or somebody built a borehole, or somebody constructed a road. Any good act which you do that outlived you, as people make use of that thing, you will be having reward. So Sadaqatun Jariyah. Or you built a school. Then the second means, he said what? أَوْ عِلْمٌ يُنْتَفَعُ بِهِ. Or a knowledge which people make use of. Let's assume you taught people something and they are making use of the knowledge. So as they make use of the knowledge, Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, even if you are not alive, you continue to have reward. Then the third one, he said what? وَلَدٌ صَالِحٌ يَدْعُو لَهُ. A righteous child that prays for him. So the question here is, as parents, let's ask ourselves, what kind of children do we have? Is if you have a child, praying for you does not guarantee you having what? The word of the prayer. So what will make Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala to accept a good act done on your behalf by your child is that your child must be what? A righteous child. That child must be a righteous child. So are we today raising righteous children? And as I keep reminding us, when we say righteous children, I'm not just talking about just because your child goes to the mosque, you observe his salah, that makes him a righteous child. No. Salah is one of the activities in Islam. One of the work you're supposed to do as a Muslim. But Islam is not all about salah. Salah is one, not even one of just everything about, but rather is one of the pillars of Islam. Like this building or this mosque have pillars, but there are other things that are as useful as also what? The pillar. Now it's raining, so if there is no roof, we cannot what? We cannot stay. But the roof is not a pillar, but the roof is important in the building. So salah is one of the pillars of Islam. So when you have a righteous child, that means a child that is disciplined. A righteous child will be a disciplined child. If your child is not disciplined, that means that child is not righteous. If we have not forgotten, I've mentioned to us before that there is connection between character and what? God consciousness. They have connection. The most God-conscious person will be the most disciplined person. The most God-conscious person will be the most disciplined person. Because being God-conscious means living your life according to the dictates of Allah. That is, living your life according to what pleases Allah. And what pleases Allah are things that make the environment safe. Or take for example, somebody who is God conscious will avoid intoxicants. Somebody who is God conscious will avoid stealing. Somebody who is God conscious will avoid yahoo. Somebody who is God conscious will avoid what? Taking life unjustly. Somebody who is God conscious will not involve in kidnapping. Somebody who is God conscious will not involve what? In what? A robbery. Mention any evil. Somebody God conscious will avoid it. That is why, as we said, there is connection between God consciousness and behavior. Where some of us got it wrong is that we think when they say somebody who is God conscious, somebody can be spending more time than you in the mosque, but he may not be as God conscious as you are. Because that mosque is one activity in Islam. That is salah. It's one thing. So somebody may have less time in the mosque, but he may be more God conscious than the one who spent more time in the mosque. So if you want to know your level of God consciousness, check your level of obedience to Allah. Check your level of what? Compliance with the do's and don'ts in Islam. A God conscious person, when he goes to the market, he will not oppress the seller and he will not oppress the buyer. Whatever side he is, he will do the right thing. But today you can see somebody who may spend 2 hours in the mosque, but maybe he now gets himself involved in kidnapping. So, yes, he does what is right in the mosque, and outside the mosque he does what is what? Wrong. My brothers and sisters, indeed, please, my advice to myself and the rest of us as parents, we need to struggle as much as we can to give our children proper upbringing. And we must always remember that a day is coming that Allah Ta'ala is going to ask us pertaining to those children He entrusted to us. If we raise them properly, then we'll be safe. If we raise them wrongly, we'll be affected. أقول ما تسمعون وأستغفر الله العظيم الجليل لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين من كل ذنب وخطيئة واستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه أما بعد عباد الله أوصيكم ونفسي بتقوى الله عز وجل. My brothers, indeed, so parenthood is a very, very great responsibility, and because of its level of greatness, and that is why Allah Ta'ala commanded the children to, because of the stress and the responsibilities the parents have discharged on them, they were also commanded to be what? Obedient to the parents. As Allah says, وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. Allah Ta'ala make us this, right parents for our children. May Allah Ta'ala make us not regret having those children, because when you have those children and you fail in your responsibility, then it becomes a problem to you in this world and in the hereafter. May Allah Ta'ala guide our youth. May Allah Ta'ala those in getting involved in evil things, may Allah Ta'ala save them from it, and those doing the right thing, may Allah Ta'ala strengthen them on that. Inshallah, we pray Allah Ta'ala save our nation and guide us in the decisions we make. A gurguje khutban yau mun ja hankulan juna ne akan wani hadisin ma'aiki sallallahu alaihi wasallam inda yake cewa kullukum ra'in wa kullukum mas'ulun an ra'iyati. Wato ma'aiki sallallahu alaihi wasallam a cikin wannan hadisi yake cewa kullukum ra'in, yace kowanne daga cikin ku makiyayi ne, wato shugaba ne. Akwai abin da Allah ya danka masa amanan kiyayewa, to sai ya ce wa mas'ulun an ra'iyyati, kuma kowa za a tambaye shi game da abin da aka damƙa masa amana. To ko da yake hadithin ya shafi kowa, amma a yau in waɗanda za mu sa hankula a kai ko kuma wanda za mu sa hankali a kai shine sunewa iyaye. Kowane wato dukkan iyaye akwai nauyin da Allah ya dora mana a matsayinmu na iyaye, wato tarbiyyantar da yaranmu ta hanyar da Allah ke so. Ubangiji tabaraka wa ta'ala yana faɗi a cikin wata aya yake cewa ya ayyuhal ladina amanu, ya ku waɗanda kuka ba da gaskiya, sai ce me ku anfusakum, ku kare kawunanku wa ahlikum nara, da kuma iyalanku daga wuta. To kare kawunanmu da iyalanmu daga wuta wani abu ne wanda yake wajibi a kanmu, amma abin da za mu gane shi ne idan aka ce in ka aikata kaza ko in ka bar kaza za ka shiga aljanna, ko in ka aikata kaza ko in ka bar kaza za ka shiga wuta, abin da za mu fahimta shi ne duk abin da aka ce in ka yi shi ko kuma in ka bar shi za ka shiga aljannan, aljannan zai soma daga nan duniya ne. Abin nufi a nan shi ne me an ce zancen aljanna kowa na tunanin mai jin daɗi, ko ba haka ba? To duk abin da za ka yi da zai baka aljanna zai kawo maka jin daɗi a duniya, kuma dukkan abin da za ka yi da zai shigar da kai wuta zai kawo maka wutan a nan duniya daga farko ma tukuna. Wato zai baka wahala a nan duniya. Ai shi yasa Allah ya ce wa man a'rada an dhikri fa inna lahu ma'ishatan danka, wanda ya kauce wa umurnina ya ce zai yi rayuwa wani irin rayuwa, ya ce rayuwa mai kunci a nan duniya kenan. Kuma wanda ya aikata aikin alkhairi zai ji daɗi, tunda Allah ya faɗi ya ce man amila salihan min dhakarin aw untha wa huwa mu'min, sai ce me falanuhyiyannahu hayatan tayyiba. Allah ya ce man amila salihan, wanda ya aikata ayyuka kyawawa, namiji ne ko mace, halin kasancewansa mumini, sai ce me falanuhyiyannahu hayatan tayyiba, za mu rayar da shi rayuwa mai daɗi a ina, a duniya. A lahira kuma sai ce min kul najziyannahum, kuma za mu sakanka masu a ranar tashin kiyama bi ahsani ma kanu ya'malu, da abin da yafi alkhairi ga wanda suke aikatawa. Ai a yanzu ba kowa na kuka ba. Me yasa muke kuka? Saboda muna aikata ababen da Allah ya ce mu bari wanda zai shigar da mu wuta, sai muka so mu ɗanɗana wutan irin ta duniya. In muna son wutan ya mutu, abin da zai kashe wutan shine me mu so mu aikata kyawawan ayyuka. Kyawawan ayyuka kuma su ne ababen da in ka aikata su rayuwar duniya zai yi kyawu. Sai mu ba 'ya'yanmu tarbiyya irin ta wato wanda irin ta Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala da ma'aiki sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Da yawa daga cikin mu a yau mun haifi 'ya'ya, amma ba mu damu da yaya 'ya'yanmu suke girma ba, yaya suke tashi ba. Ba ka kai shi makarantar islamiyya, bai zuwa boko, kuma babu wani sana'a da yake koya. Mun ban 'ya'yanmu kara zube, gobe kuma sai mu so ma ihu cewa sun zama mai 'yan ta'adda, alhali mu muka ba su tarbiyya ta ta'addancin tun farko. Tunda duk lokacin da duk lokacin da kai wasa da abin da ya kamata ka kula da shi, to kenan matsala zai zo daga baya. Duk yaron da bai da tarbiyya ta musulunci ba wani abin yi, me zai yi? Aka ce an idle mind is what? Is the devil's workshop. In muka dubi yara a da, mu ko kuma yara ko kuma kenan ina na ce yara kenan yana nufin iyaye a yanzu, iyayen da suke ganin cewa so suna da tarbiyya. Ai wasu iyaye ne suka ba su tarbiyya jiya, halin da suke da shi a yau tarbiyyar da iyayensu suka ba su a da ne. Mu kuma sai zamanto yanzu 'ya'yan namu sai muka yi watsi da tarbiyyarsu. Gobe kuma sai ka ce yaro bai jin magana, ko kuma ka ce gobe yaro ya lalace, amma kuma ka ce ka lalata shi. yanzu za ka ga dattawa ko kuma manya mata, za ka ga shaguna ƙanana amma za ka ga menene barasa, giya da sauransu, za ka ga shi ne ake sayarwa sachet duk ya zama to kamar wani abin da a da akwai wurare musamman da za ka iya zuwa kamin ka samu irin wa'annan abubuwa. Amma a yanzu ko primary school kake, za ka ga wani karamin shago a kusa da primary school ana sai da giya na sachet. Shaye-shaye da sauransu, kuma gobe sai mu ce ƙasan ta lalace. Babu abin da zai gyara ƙasan sai mun gyara mutanen da suke cikin ƙasan. Ƙasa bai lalace ba, ƙasa lafiyanta kalau, mutanen da ke cikin ƙasan ne ke lalacewa. In ana son a gyara ƙasa sai a gyara mutanen, to kenan in muna son mu gyara shugabannin gobe sai mu yi me? Sai mu gyara 'ya'yanmu. Aka ce yara manyan gobe. Za mu yi ta blaming ɗin zamani, mu ce ba wanda mu muke ɓata kawunan, babu wani abin da zamani ya kawo mana, mu ne zamanin. Ashe sa wani malami ke cewa ce me na'ibu zamanana wal aibu fina, yace wa mali zamanina aibun siwana, ara thiyabun tusanu ala unasin wa akhlaqun tudasu fala tusanu, yaquluna az-zamanu bihi fasadun wa hum fasadu wa ma fasada az-zamanu. Yace na'ibu zamanana, muna aibata zamaninmu, sai ce me wal aibu fina, alhali aibin wato illan a cikinmu yake, a jikinmu yake ba zamanin ba. Yace wa mali zamanina aibun siwana, zamaninmu ba ta da wata illa sai dai mu. Yace ara thiyabun tusanu ala unasin, naga mutane sukan wato rufa kawunansu da me, tare kawunansu da tufafi. Kowa zai tashi, za ka sa tufa mai kyau, za ka sa turare, zo ka tufafi kanka. Ya ce wa akhlaqun tudasu fala tusanu, amma hankali an lalata shi ba a kare shi ba. Alhali hankalinka ya fi wannan gangan jikinka muhimmanci. Hankalinka, kwakwalwanka ya fi gangan jikinka muhimmanci. Gangan jikin ka wanke ci, ka shafa mai, ka sa turare, amma hankalin ka yi ne, ka lalata shi da wasu ababe wanda ba su da amfani. yace yaquluna zamanu bihi fasad, sun ce zamani ya lalace, ce wa hum fasadu wa fasada zamanu, su suka lalace, zamani bai lalace ba. Saboda haka ya ƴan uwa, dan Allah mu dage wajen wato sauke wannan nauyi da Ubangiji tabaraka wa ta'ala ya dora mana, wato nauyi na wato tarbiyyar ƴaƴanmu, don mu tsira daga waɗannan matsaloli da muke ciki, ko kuma wasu daga cikin matsalolin da za su mazo nan gaba. Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala ya gyara mana kasanmu, ya shirya mana da shugabanninmu. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasana wa fil akhirati hasana wa qina adhaban nar. Allahumma la taj'alna fi maqamina hadha dhanban illa ghafarta wa la hamman illa farajta wa la karban illa nafasta wa la daynan illa qadayta wa la 'asiran illa yassarta wa la 'aduwan illa khadalta wa la mubtalan illa 'afaita wa la mayyitan illa rahimta wa la hajata min hawaij ad-dunya wal akhirah hiya laka ridan wa lana fiha salatun illa antana 'ala qada'iha wa satha bi اللهم بعلمك الغيب وقدرتك على الخلق احينا ما علمت الحياة خيرا لنا وتوفنا إذا علمت الوفاة خيرا لنا. اللهم إنا نسألك خشيتك في الغيب والشهادة، ونسألك كلمة الحق في الرضا والغضب، ونسألك في الغنى والفقر، ونسألك نعيما لا ينفد، ونسألك قرة عين لا تنقطع، ونسألك الرضا بعد القضاء، ونسألك برة العيش بعد الموت، ونسألك لذة النظر إذا وجهك إلى لقائك ونطلق اللهم زينا بزينة الإيمان وجعلنا هداة مهتدين. اللهم زينا بزينة الإيمان وجعلنا هداة مهتدين. عباد الله، إلى صلاة الحمد لله.